Hi, I'm Penny. Easter's going to be here pretty soon, so I thought I would show you how to make some bunny ears for your gnomes. They're pretty easy to make and a lot of fun. I'm also going to show you how to make a little Easter basket and put whiskers on your gnome. To start with, I'm going to show you how to make this style of ears for your gnome. For materials, you're going to need a white tube sock, couple of colored socks, a 4 to 5 inch square piece of fur, some stuffing, string, a cup and a half of kitty litter, a glass or a jar, your glue gun of course, a little blush, scissors, and some ribbon. Some additional items you'll need if you want to put whiskers on. You're going to need a couple of pipe cleaners. For trim, I'm using this Faux Fur Yarn. And if you want to make a basket, you'll need a little plastic egg, a cotton ball, and some little Pom Poms. For this style of ears, you're going to need white pipe cleaners and some felt or some pretty material for the lining on the ears. I'm going to do a quick run through on how to make the body of the gnome. If you want more detailed instructions, please watch my first video, Creating Simple Gnomes with Penny. First, take your tube sock and cut it at about 8 or 9 inches. Place it in your cup. Pour in your kitty litter. Pack the kitty litter down to the bottom. Add some stuffing. We're going to take a little wad of stuffing and shove it right inside and pinch off a nose, and then tie it off with some string. Maybe top it off with a little more stuffing, and then tie off the top. And I'm going to glue this little top part. Kind of looks like hair. I'm going to glue that down. I'm going to take a little blush and put it on the nose to give it some color. Then I'm going to take my fur and I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to make a little notch for the nose. Start right here, and I'm going to cut straight down here. So we'll make it like a little triangle. There we go. Then we have a nice little beard. So now I'm going to save these little pieces that I cut off and use it in the ears. I'm going to take one of my colored socks and use it for a jacket. So you just slip that on over the body. Then I'm going to fold it down. Just pick the nose up a little bit, put a little bead of glue, and then shove the beard on under there. I'm going to put some glue on the sides. Now we have the beard on. I'm going to glue the jacket. So I put a little glue under here and a little glue under there. Glue the beard down on the sides, a little bit on this side. Now that we have the basic gnome, I'm going to show you how to make some ears like this. This is the top half of the sock that I used for the body. So I'm going to cut off a little bit of the ribbing, leave about an inch. And now I'm going to fold this down to see where half is, and I'm going to cut it down the side, on each side about halfway, because I want to leave some for a hat. Both sides, I'm going to turn it inside out and then fold it the other direction. So now I have 2 ears. Actually, this kind of looks like a pair of pants. So then I'm going to cut this at a curve, kind of make this look like the top of the ears. And then do the same thing with the other one. Just cutting off a little triangle here. So then it looks like this. And then when you pinch it this way, you have two ears. The inside of this sock is nice and soft, so I use that for the outside of the ear and the hat. It looks a little nicer than using the other side. So then I'm going to tuck in the ribbing. Now I could just put it on the gnome right now. Tie a little string. Then I'd put a little ribbon around it, and you could just leave it just like this, and you've got some floppy ears. I'm going to add a little bit more to it. I'm going to turn it right side out again. See these two little pieces that I cut off of the beard? I'm going to glue those to the side here so that it'll look like the inside fur on the ear. I'll strip a little line of glue right down the middle, like that. Yeah, just kind of fluff it out like that. And then do the same thing on the other side. Just put a little glue the fur in. It's a good way to use up your scraps. So now I have this. Turn it inside out again. See, when I pinch it, then I have this for my ears. I would put a little bit of stuffing in here. And then glue this on. Now I'm going to pinch it together and tie a little piece of string around it. Now I'm going to tie a little ribbon around the hat. And then I would pick up the edges and put a little glue all the way around the edge to keep the hat on. And then you could put some trim around the hat if you want. There you have a nice easy hat with ears. I made this one using a gray fuzzy sock, and then I put a little blush on the fur in here so it makes the inside of the ears look pink. Now I'm going to show you how to make some long ears. First I'll show you the basic style. This is that top half of the sock. So instead of just cutting it halfway down, I'm going to cut it all the way down to the ribbing on each side. Next I'm going to fold it in half and cut a little triangle off of the top for the point of the ears. So this is just like I did on Little Short One. So now I have a couple of points. So now I'm going to take a piece of felt, or you could use material, and I'm going to cut it just a little bit smaller than the white part of the sock. So I started out with a 6 by 8.5 piece, and I cut it in half. So now I have 3 inches by 8.5 inches, and I'm going to lay it over my ear. I'm going to cut it to match the top of this. So now it's the same size, but I want it to be a little bit smaller. So now that than the white part. Alright, so there's one side. They should be about the same size, so I'm going to go ahead and just use this one for a pattern and cut this one. So it's just a little bit smaller than the white part. So then I'm going to glue the felt to the white part of the sock. I'm going to run a bead of glue down the middle. Then I'm going to run a little bit of glue on that side. There we go. And I'm going to flip it over. There we go. Now the insides of the ears are pink. So if you just wanted to have floppy ears, at this point, you could turn it inside out. And then you just have floppy ears like this. I like them to have a little bit of shape, so I'm going to put a pipe cleaner all along the outer edge of each side. I'm just running a bead of glue up really right along the edge of the pink. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and just glue it on there. And then I'm going to cut off the excess pipe cleaner. Then I'm going to put a pipe cleaner along the other edge. So I'm running a bead of glue right along the edge of the pink. If the white part's too big, you can always trim some of it off. But I found that it's better to have it up against the pink. So like this side's got a little bit shaggy there. I'm just going to trim it off. Cut off that excess pipe cleaner at the bottom. There we go. So now we have one side of the ears done. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You can make your ears however long you want. It just depends on how much sock you have left. There we go. Now we have two ears. So this is like two ears on a headband. So I'm not making a hat with this part because I don't like the looks of this part. So I'm cutting off most of the bottom, and then I'm going to roll this up to protect the edges of the pipe cleaner. Just kind of put a little bit of glue along there. And then fold this up over it. And then do the same on the other side. And I just ran a little bit of glue right there and then fold this over. And this kind of looks like a little headband right now. Actually, it looks like the Flying Nun. Anyway, so I want to pinch my ears so they look like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one side of these. So now I have this. Now I'm going to just fold this, make little folds like this. Just put a little glue inside each crease. I'm going to pinch this off. I've got like 3 folds in here. I'm going to put a little glue in between each fold. And a little bit on the folds in the back. Now that we have the basic bunny ears, you can either glue them on the front like this, and then you can bend them however which way you want, or you could cut this apart and then put one on either side of the head like this, or you could put them in the back, however you want to do it. With this one, I put them on the front and I added fur around it to make it look like hair. And then I'll show you how to make the whiskers in just a minute. The easiest way to get the ears on here is to make a hat, which most gnomes have hats. Put a little stuffing in the toe of the sock. Tie some string around it. Then I'll tie some ribbon around it when I get all done. And throw some stuffing in. So see where the heel of the sock is? I'm going to place that in the front. I'm going to glue the hat on. I'm going to pick up the edges of the hat and glue it. I'm going to take the toe, pull the toe down, and stick the ears in like this. So this part of the sock is going to cover up the ears and hold the ears in. And then you could put a little trim around it if you want. Glue that all down. So if you want to make it a little fancier, you could take some of the faux fur yarn and glue it around the edges. Cover up the pipe cleaners, like I did on this one. I used some faux fur that looks like this, and I glued that all around the edges. I think that just adds a little more finishing touch to it. So I'm going to do that. So that's what it looks like with the fur, and this is without the fur. And since this is so skinny, I think I'm going to put another layer around the outer edge. I don't know about you, but I think it looks better with a little fur trim around it. Now let's finish this one up. One thing for sure that you need to invest in is a lint roller. Working with all this fur is really messy. I'm going to put the hat on with the heel in the front. Now normally when I'm making hats for gnomes, I have the heel in the back because I don't want to see it. But I want to use it. So I'm going to glue. Just going to glue down the very front edge of the hat. I'm going to put a bead of glue right alongside the beard, all the way across the top of the beard. I'm going to put a little bead of glue along the back here. Do that right above the collar. Okay, so I have the hat glued on, and now it's kind of doing this. But see, I have this nice little crease here, and this is where I'm going to put the ears. So see, I got this. I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to tuck this up, tuck this in, make kind of a little pocket out of it. Alright. So I have kind of a little pocket right here. So I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to glue the ears. I'm going to pull this down over the nose and glue the ears right here, and then I'm going to pull this up and glue this on top of the ears to hold it in. I'm holding this down over the nose. I'm going to put some glue right across where the crease would be. So I have the ears glued in here, and now I'm going to pull this up and glue this along the front of the ears. So I have the ears glued in here, and this has covered up all of that rough part on the bottom. And then I'm going to put some glue right here along the top to make them stand up. Now we have some cute floppy ears. So if you want to put whiskers on, I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So you'll need 2 pipe cleaners. So fold them in half and cut them 3 pieces together. Find the middle, and then you're just going to twist. Just give it a couple good twists. And there we have some whiskers. And you can just put those on right up over the nose. It's going to put a little bead of glue there. And there we have some whiskers. I'm going to finish up the hat here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue all the way around the hat. And I'm going to kind of squish it down. And I can tie a little piece of ribbon around it. I put a little ribbon around the top of the hat and made it into a bow. And I also added this cute little Easter basket to it, which I'm going to show you right now how to make. You'll need a plastic Easter egg, and just open it up and cut it off at the hinge. You can make 2 baskets out of this, so I'm going to use the bigger side. I'm going to take a little trim and glue it around the edge. I just run a bead of glue right along the top. Do about halfway and then stick it on, and then do the other half, otherwise it dries too quick. You don't have to put fur on it. You could just put a handle on it and some eggs in it, and that would be cute too, but I like the fur on it. Adds a little something. Here, run some glue along the top of the rest of it. Now I'm going to take a little piece of fur that's a little bit longer than I want for the handle, and I'm going to run a bead of glue inside on both sides and glue that on. Now we have a little Easter basket. I'm going to take a cotton ball and glue it in the bottom. Now I'm going to take 5 little Pom Poms and use them for eggs and put those in my basket. And there we have it, a little Easter basket with eggs in it. I use a little piece of the pipe cleaner that I have left over from the ears, and I put that through the handle, and then I just kind of twist it and bend down the sharp edge, and then I just shove it under the beard and glue it, and then it looks like he's holding the basket. So now we have a bunny gnome with floppy ears, whiskers, and an Easter basket. So I want to show you some of the other bunnies that I've made, just to give you a few more ideas. I showed you this one. I made a pink basket. For this one, I used polka dot material for the ears instead of felt. I bought this matching ears and mask and put it on Bunny like this with a pointy hat. I thought it was a lot of fun. So for this one, I used a little hat like this and glued the ears on the hat. I wanted to point out that on this one, I actually put a cotton ball on the back for a tail. So this one really looks like a bunny. And I glued a carrot on here in case it got hungry. I think this one turned out really sweet. This would be really cute for a little girl. It's got a princess crayon, and I put some pink Sherpa inside the ears. If you don't want to take the time to make your own ears, you can always buy one of those headbands at the store. And what I did was I snipped this end off here and here. I snipped off the material here and here. And then I snapped the headband because they're all plastic. I snapped it and pulled out this part. So I pulled that part out. And then I just glued it over the top of the nose. And I've got, see, I have the hat on, and I put some, this is actually yarn that I put around here for trim. I made a boy one because my husband told me I had too many girly gnomes. And then I just let that hang, and I think that looks really cute. This one was a sparkly one like I have on, and I did the same thing with it, but I put little pom-poms on the end of it. As you can see, you can make long ears, short ears. You can buy pre-made ears. I hope you had fun making bunny gnomes with me and learned a little something along the way. Have a happy day! Be sure to check out my first two videos, Creating Simple Gnomes with Penny and Do-It-Yourself St. Patrick's Day Gnomes. Hope to see you in the future crafting with me.